Hey guys, I think, nope, I'm not live yet. Hey guys, I am back again, and today's project is I was tinkering with some new patterns and ideas, and I got to playing around with some alien designs. These guys are awfully small. Let me grab my little bin of the bigger ones. So in tiny version, they're awfully tiny. So I may end up testing them in a slightly bigger version too. Grab all the debossing, and debossing. So these are extra large versus tiny double tall. So the patterning is way different in size and scale. But anyway, so I've got, what am I calling these? This one is Beam Me Up, and it's just your typical cartoony. It's got the cow and the moon and the beam. So we'll have to see how these roll out. Super, super, super cute. They're done in deep. So yeah, this should work out really good. It's adorable. This one was I was starting to play with the idea of crop circles, and I liked the way this patterning came out. But it wasn't quite crop circly enough for me, so it's more just playing on the geometry of the crop circles. So I called it crop geometry, and then I call this one crop circles. And this one I actually took a whole bunch of time to work on and pulled up a bunch of images of crop circles and then pulled them all out to put them all on a seamless background. So this one took a ton of time to pull together, but it's just all the cool little, just funky crop circle designs that are, out in the wild. But yeah, so that's what I was going to play around with. Let me leave the bigger versions, or at least the smalls, sitting over here too, just in case I end up going with those instead of the tiny ones. And then, oh, and then the other bits of what I was working on. Let's see, there was two more in here. Do them in maybe embossing will show it better. Yeah. So those guys are going to be lounging lizards. And it's just a bunch of little tropical leaves and lizards all mixed around in there. They'll go with my funky tree frogs. I still need a couple more patterns for that collection. And then I was adding to the bees. I've had a few requests for bees lately, and I absolutely love this one. That came out just so, 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 so perfect. A little bit of honeycomb, a little bit of flowers, and a bunch of busy little bees. So that'll go with my other bee pattern. I'll try to get a couple more and get a collection built, but as it sits, that's where those were at. Oh, and then there's a couple more. This one is large etched flowers, but it's going to be smaller etched flowers. It just duplicates the pattern, so it made everything smaller. And the same thing here. This is loopy loopy flowers. There it is. So here's the full size patterning, and I decided I wanted it like teensy scaled also. So it's basically four of these in one of these kind of. So yeah, so I just scaled the pattern out on that. So those are new old patterns. And then these are two brand new patterns. And I can't remember what I was thinking of calling this one. I have a name on it, but I don't remember what it was. But it's cool little floral stamp. So I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it tiny like this. I'm going to have to try a bigger one rather than just the tiny, because it's going to be hard to tell what's going on. And then this one is awesome. This one's labeled Songbirds, and it will absolutely be put on the website ASAP. And apparently Sky is being needy. I don't know if you guys hear her or not. She's whining in the background. Anyway, I don't know what she wants, but she might make me get up. But yeah, absolutely in love with the way that one came out. So, bunch of new patterns. We'll play around with a few of these. Misplaced my spray bottle, so where I think another spray bottle up here. Yeah, that's water also. It's not as easy as the little squirty one. All right, so it's gonna try them. I could go this way instead. I was gonna do the double talls, but cut those in half, and I think I'll do that, and we'll do the small ones for now, because the small is gonna be a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger in the patterning. So I had all of these all set up. Now I'm gonna cut them all in half. And do a couple small samples instead. All right, so paper towel, spray bottle of trusty water, get the rollers super wet. And this one is super pokey. So, ugh. There is my handle. There's so much stuff on my desk. All right, so actually going to make sure that this is like uber wet because it's very pokey, and especially the embossing version is going to be even pokier. Just a good little push. There's that, and that one's debossing. And it gets us just a cool little, it's got a little bit of that ground patterning, a little bit of the crop lines, the lines that are in the crops and everything. I love the way that one comes out. That's really cool. All right, let's try an embossing. You are there. There you are. You super soaked. It's more like flat wets rather than the loose spray that my other one does. But it is good for making sure that I get it good smushed into all of, get it spritzed deep into all the little nooks and crannies. Alrighty. Go. Obviously, I had more pressure on the left than the right because it pushed it out further. But yes. So yeah, that's embossing. That one's going to be awesome, awesome, awesome for doing some little jewelry pieces with. And it's going to be really cool. You know what? I'm going to try that in the extra large just because I am so curious how that comes out. Fortunately, I was smart enough to photograph all that first, too. So I can use all my rollers. Where are you? There you are. And I don't exactly care to do, I don't need to do both embossing and debossing in large. I can get my photographs off the little ones. Definitely want to make sure that that's nice and wet. Don't need the handles for this version. Didn't burnish my clay down, so it started pulling up. But yes, those are epic awesome. A little background texture and everything in there. Those will be fun to mess around with. So I can Mokume-gane that a bit. Probably the debossing will be better for that. You see the difference in the scaling on the size between small and extra large, and it is also, if you can tell, pattern is deeper on the small, and then a jumbo would be very deep and give you nice big imprints. So like if you wanted each of these elements to be an individual piece, like in a piece of jewelry, you get the jumbo one, and that would leave them all very, very, very obviously individual. That one's a little shallow, but it's still there. Okay, cool. So yes. Oh, nope, it's more visible on that side. So pressure situation, I guess. But yeah, absolutely in love with those. All right, let me need to grab an additional roller. I don't need to save that for photographing. So you can just get tossed over there. These guys I am going to want to photograph. I'm going to pull them up. Oh, actually, I shouldn't. Whatever, that's fine. I'm going to set everything aside to photograph for later. So I need one more tile. Let's see, there we go. And I'm making messes. Things are falling. It's good. It's all good. All right. I've gotten very fond of having my little lines on my background. Apparently, I still didn't cut those evenly, though, but whatever. Oh. No, it's 2 inches and 2 inches. Why does that one look wider? I don't even know. Whatever. They will work. Probably go ahead and burnish them down a little bit. Oh, there's a single sheet of paper. Do that. Started getting some lifting. So, all right. Let's let's do the next one is the other crop circle set. Crop geometry. I need to go find my other spray bottle. I think I took it out to the kitchen to fill up and forgot to bring it back. All right, let's give you a good roll. Oops. Sometimes I feel the need to use the handles. Sometimes I don't think it really matters. It just depends on my mood, kind of. That's really fun. I like that a lot. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Don't tear up and stay put. Alrighty. Very cool. So, embossing. That had a lot more depth and visual interest to it than I kind of expected, to be honest. That's really cool. I really love this like Celtic knot style. Yeah, cool. All right. Let's grab you. On the outside, get photographed in a little bit. Probably should go back to my rule of photographing as I roll, but oh well. Okay, so it's 2 inches and 2 inches. Half. There. One there. Piece of paper. Down. And this last one is so cute. Righty. Embossing. Your little pokey and debossing. I should have grabbed handles. And there we go. So, oh, the little cow and the moonbeam is so perfectly cute. I love it. And that's it in debossing. Stinking little cow. I love it. That's too funny. So yeah, those good little aliens. There you go. Super cool. All right, I love those. Those are so fun. All right, you go to the other side of the world. And then what did I have next? So those are done. I do want to do these long ones or the tall ones. Let's see. Flip there. Alrighty. And start with the bumblebees. Goodness, these are so cute. Alrighty. Sometimes it is nice to have the handles on just because they help alleviate the width on these tall ones. What the heck did I get in there? Paper towel, I guess. I need to stand, always stand. They're so cute. Little bumblebees, little flowers, all the fun little details. All right, and now for the debossing version. That one's a little pokey too, so preferential to have handles on that one. There we go. Look how cute those little bees are. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. The honeycomb's really neat on that too. I like that a lot. I really like it in debossing. Probably didn't get enough tension to get embossing to come all the way through. I'm thinking it looks like I'm missing a little detail on those bees. It's showing up great on the debossing, so I know it's there. Let me try that one more time. Not well enough if I just flip you? Maybe. A little lumpy. Yep, didn't get it down well enough. All right. Oh, it's wet. That's why. That's not going to stick down. Okay, dry. Fresh piece now that I messed that all up. And now my count is off. Finish you down. Don't get you stuck in the roller. The one thing I will say about using the metallic silver for all my samples is it's a really firm clay, which is part of why I use it. Like it takes forever to get it to recondition every time I pull it out for this. So, but it also is very unlikely to get stuck in the rollers. If it's softer, yeah, it's better. There we go. So yeah, just if you want all those details on those little guys, you need to get it very deeply rolled because then they come all the way through. So here's what happens if you just don't have it deep enough in the roller. You're not pressing hard enough or your clay's not thick enough. The clay's definitely thick enough, so I just wasn't pressing hard enough. There you go. You can see the difference between semi-detailed and all the details. And I can only go so close. But yeah, that's really, really, really is a cute pattern. I love that to pieces. That's fantastic. Alrighty, you are now scrapped. Piece. All right, and then next is my lizards. Those are what are next. And then I am going to run out of thingamajiggies, I think, before I make it all the way through this. I have more rollers than I had silver clay rolled out. And I used two that weren't necessary to use in the moment. Okay. Debossing, embossing. So my little lounging lizards. Debossing one. And embossing one. Those are cute too. Yeah, those guys are fantastically cute. The bunches, they've got the chameleon in there, a whole bunch of little lizards and things all through it. Yep, that one's great. And then here's them in debossing. This pattern's a little unusual for the way I typically build things. I think this would actually, you know what? I might do something Mukumi with this. I've got a, yeah, I've still got some of that mixed up goldy, bluey, browny, greenish. I think we'll do that in a Mukumi. That'll be our project for today. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And I have 3 more pieces. So, all those. And I've got 2 more. Up. No. Neighbor's getting a bunch of sand delivered, so I probably want to definitely test these in large, and then I'll probably do that flower pattern later. So that leaves me with 1 extra. Alrighty. Or not large, sorry, in the double tall. 2 tiny double talls. This would make amazing Mukumi Gane too. Maybe in that slab of brownie bluiness I still have floating around. I might try that out. We'll see. Definitely want to try the lizards in it though. I think those would be really cute with it. Okay. You need wet. So I'm opening that. I guess that's the number 1 reason I don't like the spray bottle is I have to find the hole. The other one is like obvious when you grab the handle, the lever, you shoot in the direction you're shooting. This one I have to actually search this whole circular thing for where the hole is. So that's why that's not my favorite. A huge part of why that's not my favorite. Embossing. I was up in the mountains we brought my handles with, and the kids broke off the part that connects them, but it's not really necessary. I don't notice any stability change, especially on the extra large. So is a little irrelevant. Make sure I get good tension on this. Don't want to miss out on any of the details. And I actually printed it in the intricate depth, and then I rebuilt it in the ultra deep because I think it'll make a good Mukumi Gane, and it's a good stamping pattern. It should actually be able to lay some paint and lay the whole pattern in paint. So that's kind of where I try to keep the colors coordinated and the depth maps similar. Is you could stamp with this one. Which at some point I really do need to go through and do a whole stamping video and play around and figure out the technique on that. But oh my gosh, these little birds are so absolutely stinking adorable. I love them. They're just so cute. Yeah, same thing with those bees. I have to really put some pressure to get it deep up in there. And I lost a little tension. Actually, that's what it does too. Is I find on those tiny double talls, because they're so long, you can put more pressure on the outside and get just the tiniest bit of flex in them. So sometimes I lose detail in the middle that I don't lose on the outer edges, and that's would be why on that. So I'm going to set all my little samples aside for photographing, and I will do that on my own time. Hopefully, do I still have 1 more tile left? Eek! I'm almost out of tiles now. That's no good. I have to double up some of these. All right, let me pull you guys off. Throw away the wet towel. I don't need that right now. All right. You guys can go sit over there. Now I have 2 tiles. Yay! Bare minimum. Need at least 2. All right, so we wanted to play with little lizards. Where are you guys? There you are, and I want the debossing. I think it's going to be really cute. So, we need. I already have you run into an off-white and everything, so you're kind of all ready to go from our messing around the other day. Be a little dusty. Okay, so what color behind that do I want? Now we need to thicken that up. It's already going to show through to white. don't think that is because it's an intricate, and I'm using this. Maybe I'll use bigger than the small one. I don't think I will use the tiny one. Um, let's go ahead and use the large one this time. Yeah, it fills up most of that. Okay. And then I guess we'll just go with old trusty off-white because another whole brick I just made up. So snag half of that in your little box. And sorry guys, I have to run the thing again. All right, that's pretty thin, but I am gonna want to slim it down a little bit more. And the way I want to do this is I definitely want that. I want to push this in. I'm not going to be cutting all the way back. So I'm going to leave that as there. I'm going to roller again. Burnish this a little bit because this has been sitting around for a few days, maybe almost a week. No, I don't remember when. I probably did I do this Saturday with you guys? I think this was Saturday's project, wasn't it? I kept going on that too. It's absurd. I'll have to show you guys more of what I did. It's insane. Yeah, just on such a bender of I didn't want to do anything but play with clay, so I played with a lot of clay. So I was just trying to wake up the veneer a little bit so it's less likely to crack and do stupidness when I run it through the roller. Okay, now I will say since my pattern has such a diagonal, I'm actually going to stretch it a touch more. Since it has such a diagonal stretch, I want to roll this across this way and keep that diagonal effect into my critters. Oh, and about how tall are you? So I'll need about that much of it, and I can save the other half of that for something else. And that's how I have pieces of stuff laying around that are ready to go for other projects from other projects. Wet it, Sky. What? What's the matter, big girl? You were out like an hour ago. Not even. Sweet girl's getting old and she's getting confused. And she's at that point, I think she's 11 and a half, coming on 12 this year. It's Rhodesian Ridgeback. And yeah, I'm pretty sure she's just kind of hit that point where she gets a little confused on what's up in the world. Ooh, put the pressure. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to dry that off. I'm not going to do my clear translucent trick because I have no plans on trying to make any of this linger or last. Like the cuttings, the shaving offs. We'll just put them in a pile of miscreant clay. Alrighty. That is a firm blade. That is not what I want for shaving. Always use something flexible. And I like to have my tile kind of pressed up against my abdomen just so it doesn't pull any further. And I don't want to take too much at all. So basically, I guess let me get a couple shavings in and then I'll explain sort of how this roller is designed and why it works for this. So I'm trying, took too much there. trying to take off just the topmost layer and leave everywhere because it's got a lot of detail. There we go. So there you can see it. So it's got some detail in the depths. Let me pick the roller back up and show you what I'm talking about here. So, oh, and I did get one piece of clay stuck in it. Always. Bonk. Not better. Wait, there's a couple. So yeah, this is a very, very, very finely detailed roller. So it's definitely going to require plenty of water and not be uncommon for it to get stuff stuck in it. But it's whatever. I'll pop out in the next project. Sorry, ADHD. Can't help it. I saw something. I have to deal with it. All right. So the way this is designed, which makes it kind of cool, is like, okay, so this leaf presses a whole pattern in. It might leave a little details um, down in there. That's not quite, let me see if I can, that's probably it. So you can see what I'm talking about here is then you get, I can shave off the outermost layer and still leave details, and that fern leaf is perfect and that lizard's perfect. So I'm shaving off the background layer, but what got pressed down in still retains detail. So I could shave very carefully a little bit more and get the detail to shave in multicolor, but I don't really want to do that. Like the lizard, I lost a little bit of the lizard by shaving just a hair deep. So that's kind of my goal here is I'm trying to shave off just that. There you go. So you see that hair? That's a very good visual right there. You can see how I've got an outermost layer that I can very easily shave off, but then I can leave some of that detailing down in there. So like all of these little lizards and things, everything that's got the details out on this outer edge where there's light detailing, but it doesn't go full depth, that all presses in and stays deeper in. Or like this lizard, you see how many places, like all of his details, some of it does go full depth. So that's why I lost some of his detail when I was shaving, is some of the depth comes all the way back out. So if that makes sense, so that's why I wanted to make sure that I had the color on top that I wanted to come down in, because basically all my details like here on, yeah, on that leaf, you can see it really well, is all the color changing and stuff, all that happens within the details and not necessarily on top. I need to be able to take a longer strike. I find that works a little bit better for me. There we go. So like this chameleon guy, some of that detailing is going to come all the way out, but a lot of it's going to stay down in there. So this is definitely a patterning that I don't want to have to burnish. I want to leave that lower detailed layer like completely alone if I can help it. So again, even if I'd have made this the deep impression rather than doing it with the intricate depth, because there's no point making it any deeper than the intricate depth. I mean, it would get a little bit more change of depth on these little details down there, but not enough. And it's two-phase depth. It's pretty good. Its intricate depth is not as rounded. So, I mean, technically I could have, but I didn't need to do it that way. Um, and it matches a collection that's my Funky Tree Frogs are this depth, and there's a handful of other things that it's going to end up in a collection with. So I could have made it either way, but it is more of an intricate depth type roller. There we go. So yeah, that came out really cool. I wish I didn't have that bit of translucent that I have running through here. This would have been a better pattern to do with slightly more consistent color, but it doesn't have to be wholly consistent because of the way this is. So there you see if I go a little bit deeper and like here on this little lizard guy, bring it up. I'm a little bit deeper like on that leaf and that lizard guy, I start losing, it's more of a subtle effect rather than whole lizards and whole leaves and little chameleons and stuff. And then again, here the color change is too dramatic. So you start losing some of the idea of the details. That chameleon came out perfect though. He landed in a great spot. And that leaf is really cool. The guys that are totally blue are really pretty. So yeah, I like that. That came out really cute. Probably again, so not a good one for doing the beads with because the beads I end up pressing and rolling into a complete and total single color. Shavings are cool for doing beads with though. And I'll probably want to thicken up my veneer here because I rolled it down to a 2, including the sandwich layer. So it's actually really thin at the moment. Different blade. That's not the right blade. Firm blade for that. But yeah, I think that came out super cute. So I have the other half of this. I could try the songbirds out. I guess we could do that. Let's do that. Oh, wait. I need to do something with one of these because I put aliens in the title. So let's do something here first. I am out of tile space. You can go sit on a box and wait for me to cut you up later. All right. So then the other thing is this is pretty darn cool. So I'm thinking. Let me just see what I have. Actually, let's just start dusting it up a little bit. Again, I think we're better to put some color into it and then remove off the top. And it still isn't the most deep one ever, but let me see what we got. Yeah, kind of color do I want? I kind of want something a little dark and a little shady. So let's go ahead and go with the pan pastels again. It was crops, so maybe the greens. Let's do it in greens. Might be boring though. No, maybe. Yeah, let's do them in the greens. Part of me kind of wants to play with purples. Because I have a green in this. The purple. This is all the metallic colors. It doesn't look like I have a green. Maybe I do down here. Okay. Maybe there. Let's play there for now. That's chartreuse. I don't want that. What's the lightest green color? Oh god, nope, that's just yellow. That we're not doing. Okay, and then I probably should pick a cutout shape so that I don't waste all my silver clay. You know what? I could solve a lot of this problem by just doing it on a brown. Where is my? I don't have enough of that. I need to make all of that. How am I out of that color again? I always make so much of it, and it looks like I am out of it again. All right, let me pick a different color. Pick the green. Oh, I think I'm seeing a yes. That color. I might still want those, but not for a minute. I need to. And roll that out. Alrighty, that is a fun color. If I remember correctly, this is forest green with the forest green into silver, or is it into the graphite pearl? Probably graphite pearl. That's my guess on what the color formula was there. Oop, not cut that very well. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. So I want this guy and him better. Definitely don't love the sprayer so much. So this is definitely a softer clay than that silver. And you can see how much more detail we got coming out of that, right? Yeah. Here, let me. I'm pretty sure that was, yeah, that was the large. So because the silver clay is so firm, it's not willing to loosen up and come up into the grooves quite as well as like that green is. You can see how much depth we actually have there. So yeah, super cool. All right. I'm glad I made that decision. That makes me happy now. All right, so still don't want to waste whatever's extra. What parts do I want to use? What kind of shape am I thinking? What is space shaped? Could do smaller individual charms. Mostly that would be circles, it looks like. I'm missing a size on circles too. Nope, not quite. Probably do that, but I could probably also go down a size for that. Yes. Nope, I only have one of you though. Oh no, I have two, but then I'm not going to be able to nab that guy very easily. Could maybe nab this guy. Let me see. Ovals. You over here. Not wide enough. I have. A little too tall. Oh wait, there we go. Get me you. And then probably will get me you. And pull carefully. Not be able to use. Here's kind of what I'm thinking here. I'm gonna lose you though, so let me snag that one. Nope. Oh, Skydog. Nope. So where's 301? Do I have you printed? I have a whole oval set printed. Let's see. This is the size I need. That is the size I need to nab that. It's not quite the shape that it was originally. But am I staying on screen? Yeah, I am. Okay. Nab you like that. Nab you there also. I think so. And I think we want to. This one does that. Might lose that guy though. And then now I'm trying to figure out the best way to get this guy, because I can kind of do a tricky double cut scenario where I go like that, and I'll go like that, and then I can round this edge up a little like that, and I can round this edge up a little, going like that. Okay. So there. Now I got a whole bunch of little charms. Cool. Is there anything I missed in here that I can use still? Go ahead and do one more with that rod. Should be able to nab him. And maybe that. That. One size smaller. I might need a half size smaller, so that's 03. Let me put 30 back there. Oh, what did I just spill? I think it's 0330 is probably what I need, right? Yep. Try and catch that whole thing. There we go. All right, I got you. And I get not quite. Almost like slightly fatter than that, but I don't think we're actually a whole circle, or maybe we are. And that's the size circle I'm missing. I think I've got 25. Oh no, I have 25 and 20, so it's just not going to be that size circle. It doesn't exist in my set. Stretching a little. Actually, ooh, I can stretch him a little. Come on, stretchy. Stretchy, stretchy. He's missing a little dollop, but oh wells. And is it this one that's that guy? Whatever. Trim it back to. I have to admit, I'm not totally opposed to that shape, but just a little bit. You're rounded again, even if you are a different shape. Okie dokie. I got a bunch of things to play with now. And the real question is, where do all these cutters go? Alrighty, you guys are 20, you're probably 15, and you're 25, so I'll figure you out in a second. Where do you go? Wait a second, you're 30, okay. Circles also way back when it's the Okie dokie. Now, play around. A little colorizing. I actually like that a lot, to be honest. I'm going to start mostly here. I might actually grab a little bit of a brush. in there a little bit. Just want to try to get into those little zones a touch, but no, works better by finger. Those are so cute and fun. Wish I could get a little bit deeper into this one, but those little balls are so round. Can't seem to get in there. That's interesting too, because I've had trouble getting spheres round when I'm building out patterns. Like it's almost impossible to get them to actually stay. Yeah, actually have a rounded effect to them. Yeah, this is really cute. So now I need some way to give them a little bit more individualistic interest of sorts. I don't think I want that green. Now that's a total mismatch. A little bit of a pearly effect that these have are pretty good. That green just goes with it. I think I'm going to pull up the old trustees, the aqua bronze, kind of try to give it a little bit of a like you're a little like this and you're a little like that, just so they're not exact copies of each other. Oh, I do have someone chatting. Oh, my voice is muffled. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying really hard to talk into the microphone, but I might have to try some other version of a microphone. I'm tempted to do a lapel mic because at least that stays with me better than the mic on the table. And I'm not kidding. This mic is like right up next to me. Unless you were hearing me try to talk through my POS machine, and that might have been muffled. It's hard to say. Okay, that helped. You want to add the gold too? Maybe. Maybe just a dollop. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to get enough of it out of that jar now that it's gotten lower. Tiny bit on a tabletop. I want to go bring that green back out. Or go ahead and just let it have that subtle effect of it. I want just a touch more of the bronze on one side of you because you got washed out. So did you. And so did you. Well, that's neat. That gives it kind of turns it into almost a patinaed effect now. Very pretty. That was a good green for that because now it's like all patina and funked. More copper on you down there. Much more copper there. I'm going to lose the copper to the gold. Okay, we're still alive. All right. Keep messing around. Think that'll do it. I like that a lot. Okay, so just in case you guys are wondering, um, these are aqua bronze is what these powders are, and whatever advertisement I overheard when I found them on Facebook or whatever, a little video or something, mentioned that they have like essentially, I think you're supposed to get a wet paintbrush and use it to like turn it into like almost a water-based paint, and it activates it and makes it do a thing, but because it's a water-based activator, I think it works amazing on the polymer clay, and I have found them to be very stable, if that's the right word, where I don't have to put a surface treatment on this. Like it will 100% hold up without a surface treatment. So as long as they're kind of nicely buffed in and it's like well in there, and you put a little extra buff in the end, just kind of make sure that it's in there, tends to hold up and be totally cool when you go to once it's baked. And I have a handful of them done like that where I've been wearing them and I don't notice the color fading. So it kind of seems to activate into the polymer clay and bacon, like where even a lot of your mica powders will do that to some degree. This seems to be a little bit even more stable than that. So yeah. All right. So those are going to go into the oven. Let me see if I can wipe off a little bit of spare space, because I could go ahead and cut out a couple of the other little guys, the little lizards. And I could put them on here and send them into the oven too. That way I only have one tile going into the oven, except I don't have room. Oh, I have a whole nother tile. Yay! Where did my... There you guys are. Here's my chameleons and lizards. Give me little lizard lounges. Lounge little lizards. I do need to back that. I might back that with the dark green. Maybe. All right. You sit over there and don't fall off. Hmm. Let me see. I am thinking that little guy. Where's my rounded rectangles? For some reason, these almost always end up being some of my favorite cutters. I think. Ooh, ooh, those are cute together. I don't want to lose my chameleon though. He's really good. And all right, let me see what else we have in here. That little guy. Chameleon's one cool element. Could try to stay down here. Oh, I'm not seeing. And again, I will lose some of those guys if I don't. I could do that. I could go skinnier on the cutter. Here's my narrower one. That one, I think. Ah, yes, that's how the chameleon goes. There we go. Yep, that's where the chameleon goes. Okay. So cool. And then should be able to. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and pull it off to the side. And that way I've got both of those guys. Cute little fern leaf. A little bit of detail in that. So there you go. You guys are cute. And now I could do a pair of earrings, possibly just including those little bits of leaves. These back. Okay. Yeah, I think this one makes cute earrings. And I think it'll be cute. Aren't terrible to go with that. Usually go with the thinner ones, but I think in this detail on this, I think it'd be too thin. So, even this is a little small. That works. I may only get one pair of earrings out of this. I do have a cool little section of lizard here that's all almost seems like I got clay bits stuck in him. Where did my needle tool go? I still have it over here. So, this little purple bit of lizard. I guess that was just the details on him. Let me see. Just get a little bit more of the lizard out of this. Need some scrap to be able to wipe that off on. Okay. Is there more detail to be had on you, or am I going to just totally lose you? There is lizard there. I think the color just let him get lost because he definitely looks pretty lost. Yeah, that piece isn't big enough. He's lizard-like. Oh, that bit of leaf is really pretty. I think I'm going to snag that. And snag that leaf. Oh, there's a lizard there too. I don't know, you guys kind of got lost in all the detail. Yep, now we're going to Makumigani, and I'm getting in and losing even more of that detail. So that's not going to work. I kind of want at least one more just bit of funky. Oh, that's just pretty. Just tall enough, maybe. Go back and forth around those edges. Okay. So that and that makes a pair, and that makes a pair. Cool. All right. So now I'm not going to do anything with that. That's just scrappiness. I wonder what color that will turn into. Or it might be a bead core. All right, let's see. Those away. And combine you guys to one tile. Baking. Firm blade, not flexi blade. Okay. Don't lose your shape. Stay put. I'm being a little careful because I don't want to press into these too much because I don't want to lose that top and bottom depth. I don't want to compress them into a single depth. I like all that depth on them. So don't want to do a ton of handling because of that. Enough room that Helium will fit. I will be able to sand them though. I just can't mess with them now, really. Okie dokie. So that's what we have to fire up. Let's see where we're at. Oh, we're an hour again. It's hard to not get lost playing, isn't it? All those cool little charms. I think I'll make cute, just little charm bracelet or something. Actually, that'd be a really cute charm bracelet. And our little leafy bits. And our little lizards. It's so cute. It's such a neat pattern. I love it. All right, cool. All right, so I am totally smitten with pretty much everything. Those all came out really good, so I'm pleased. Liking. I think I know the sci-fi set will make it to the website. Lizards will make it up. The birds, absolutely. Those guys are going up as soon as I can get them up there. And yeah, oh, the bees. Yep. So yeah, all of that's gonna end up making it on the page. I just have to get it all. The pictures are taken, so I've got them uploading, and I will mess around with trying to get those listings put together as soon as I get to it. Because yeah, ADD is fun. But I've got a little bit of time today. I think I've got oh, it's getting late. Might have missed handling class with the dogs. They're all sleeping so peacefully too. I don't think they care. All right, guess we're not going to handling class. I totally forgot about that. That's usually my Thursday thing. But apparently not today. So, alrighty, guys. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll probably come back at some point and do more stuff with you. I'm going to always have more things I'm playing with, so I try to bring you guys along with and kind of experiment with you and, figure out what works, what doesn't, what's fun, what's crazy. I like those crop circles. Those came out so cool. All right, awesome. Talk to y'all later. Have a great one.